What's up, guys? So after a very long 2.5 month wait, our Camburg mid-travel kit is here and we can finally get started on our pre-runner build. Pretty good first mod for our stock 04 Sierra, if I do say so myself. Now, let's get this thing in the shop and get her torn apart.
Now we got two goals for today. Number one, complete this install. It's currently 7 a.m. Shouldn't have an issue with that unless we run into something catastrophic. Really hoping we don't. Goal number two is within the first 10 foot after this install. We're testing to see how she feels. I want to ramp this thing out of the shop and hopefully it just be like an absolute cloud. It's the whole reason why we got this kit and we're doing this style is for freaking stupid stuff like that. It's gonna be sick. Now, we're looking pretty good under here. I am gonna go ahead and PB blast everything before we get started, which we're gonna quit talking in a minute and get started. But here's the new kit. New struts, limit straps, extended brake lines, new coil springs, new upper control arms with obviously the elimination of the major failure point of GM vehicles. The upper control arm ball joint, it's gone, it's been replaced. It can't fail because it ain't there. Hardware for that. And then where I guess all the money went, the freaking spindles. Holy crap, these things look insane. So there's the upper design. It's gonna be bolted in on both sides. I'm hoping it sits pretty tall because 35s are a minimum. I would really like to slap 37s on here. Being two-wheel drive, throw a freaking big gear in the back of this thing. And I mean, I'm fine with cutting her up some, but I'm hoping it sits pretty tall. Either way, enough talking. Let's get to the install. Starting off, we're gonna be completely removing our sway bar and not reinstalling it because that's gonna limit our travel and articulation. So it's a 14 mil on the sway bar end link down below and a 10 mil on the bushing.
Pull this guy out of the way. Now we're gonna go ahead and get our ABS wire and our brake line free. Pinch this backside together. Push it through. My Christmas tree is broken here, but pop that guy up, pop this one up, and then unplug it. Then you got two 10 mils. Might have to pop that free. Flathead. Get it under the control arm. And now we're gonna go ahead and remove our brake caliper. And this is gonna be two 18 mils. You'll probably need a little breaker bar. Our rotor's trying to stay with its. Now we can take our new little tool, hook onto here, and then hook it on the frame out of the way. Now we can just pull our rotor out of the way. And as you see, I've already supported our lower control arm with our jack. Now we're gonna go ahead and snatch the shock out. It's a 15 mil up top and then a 1/2 inch down below. And if that guy starts spinning, there is a little place to get a wrench in there. Hopefully ours won't though. You can get that with a 5/8. Remove the nut. Pull that guy out of the way. We can drop it out the bottom once we get those bolts out. $18 mil to get our tie rod free. And of course, she is free spinning. So we got an 18 mil up top and an 8 mil down below. Set that guy aside. Now we're gonna go ahead and crack our spindle hub bolts. There's three, they're 15 mil. If you go ahead and crack them now, you won't have to fight with them once they're off the truck because that's a royal nightmare. So let's just go ahead and pop those babies free. There's three of them on the back side. Doing this though, while it's locked into place, will save you so much frustration because this thing is not easy to hold and crack those free once it's off the truck. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove the bolts for our upper and lower control arm. The bottom one is a 15/16. And you want to go ahead and remove this all the way off and then put it back on. That way, once you get ready to remove this spindle, it doesn't start to free spin. Because once you bust it loose, it's really going to try to free spin the stud or the ball joint. Then we got 18 mil up top, same deal. Take it all the way off. And then just thread it back on some. Now we're gonna go ahead and start hitting this thing with a hammer and get this upper ball joint to break free. Now we're gonna go ahead and loosen our upper control arm. It's gonna be a 13/16. You might need a little cheater bar for this one as well. Almost forgot, before we mess up our alignment, we're just gonna go ahead and mark it. I don't know if we'll be even going back remotely close to the same, but I always like to mark it, and then you just put it back where it was. And at least with leveling kits and stuff, a lot of times it's gonna be pretty close. Now just ensure that your jack is fully supporting your lower control arm, and now we can go ahead and remove our spindle. Our spindle is free, and we got the upper nut off, but even though we took this one all the way off and then put it back on, the ball joint is spinning in there. So you want to take a 15/16 with a 5/16 Allen, stick it in there, and then you can go ahead and break it free and just slowly drop it out of the way. Now time for the slightly scary portion where you're going to go ahead and drop your lower control arm and remove that coil. It shouldn't slip and explode on you, but I like to leave the upper control arm hanging down just in case. But we're going to take it nice and easy, make sure our brake caliper is out of the way, and just relieve that tension. Looks like it might not drop down far enough without loosening our lower control arm bolts. So let's go ahead and do that. They're going to be 15/16. Now we can go ahead and pull this guy out of there. Now we can remove our upper, take our alignment pin out, our plate, then our pin, put it back together like it was. Now that we got all that crap out of the way, we got to do a little cutting. So this factory droop stop has got to go. I don't think we have to remove the factory lower bump stop, which this is what hits your lower control arm. This is what prevents your upper from dropping too far. Well, with the new kit, we're going to drop a lot farther. And if you leave that on there, it's going to hit your new upper and it's going to break something. So grab your cutoff wheel, your Sawzall, whatever you got, and cut that baby off of there. Well, I got that baby lopped off. I'm gonna go back and clean it up some. And honestly, I should probably go ahead and wire wheel the frame down and paint it while we have everything off, because this looks pretty freaking terrible. But gosh, it freaking sucks to do. But we're kind of at a standstill because, you know, earlier I was talking about we shouldn't have any issue getting this done unless we ran into some huge ordeal. Well, unfortunately, we possibly might have. So I was going to put the spindle on our new hubs, which this is the hub that came off. This is our new hub that was on Chomper for like a week. These are OEM replacement tool drive hubs from Moog. Well, I put the spindle on there with the heat shield and it won't fit on there. And I don't want to torque it down and potentially mess something up. I've been emailing with Camburg. I've sent them some pictures and stuff. I tried calling them. They wouldn't, like, it never went to a person that they're too busy. Whatever the case. Hopefully we're gonna have some kind of resolution. I don't know if it was a machining issue or these hubs aren't for some reason right. This kit is made specifically for this generation truck, and these are both tool drive hubs, OEM and Moog replacements. I don't know, but I'm kind of at a standstill, so might as well, I guess, go grab the drill and start freaking wire wheeling this frame. Well, unfortunately, it is a couple days later, but we've got all good news, so let me try to quickly catch y'all up to speed. So for starters, painted the frame. It's black now. Sick. Lower control arms, they're off. We ordered new replacements since we had a delay anyways. Doesn't make sense to keep the old factory ones when we're replacing everything else up here. So those should be delivered at lunch today, which is the only thing that we are waiting on. Swapped our extended brake lines over. You just take the clip off up top, take that nut loose, take the one off the brake caliper, swap it over with new copper washers. You're good to go there. Now, where we left off was our hubs not fitting in our spindles. I was trying to use these Moog replacement hubs that we used on Chomper with the two-wheel drive spindle lift that we did on it for a short amount of time. They're literally brand new. Why not use those instead of the 170,000 mile factory hubs, right? Well, they wouldn't fit in. So I was emailing Camburg and that's talking over everything. Ended up, they wanted me to measure everything on the inside of the spindle to see if there was potentially a machining issue, which is obviously very rare, but it could happen. So I was doing that, and then I noticed this hub, you see this little lip right here? It's actually much higher than the original,
which I tried the original as well and it wouldn't fit in there either, but turns out it just had a bunch of rust around it. And so I sanded that down and I was finally able to finagle it into place, but I don't want to use those hubs because they're probably the stock ones. So I got on Google, got on chat, and I ended up finding out that these Timken hubs are to factory spec, or they're supposed to be the closest, whatever the case. They're also supposed to be super good. So I ordered them, and as you can see, they work. Now, they don't fit in nearly as snug as the factory ones. I hope that's not some kind of issue potentially down the road, but they bolt in fine, and everything's good there. So that's gonna work. Spindle hub situation is figured out. Now, all we're waiting for is that lower control arm, but I guess let's go ahead and bust this guy free because we got to get that dust shield off of here to transfer over with our new hubs and our new spindle. And that's why I said to go ahead and crack those free while they're still in the truck, because once they're off, that is extremely difficult to do. Now we're going to go ahead and take this thing out in the grass and probably have to beat the crap out of this thing to get it to break free. There we go. Now, all we need is the dust shield. I'll just take your dust shield, run your wire through. It's going to line up like that. It's going to go just like this. And you just want to line that up. Make sure your wire's out of the way. And we'll be using the new bolts, studs, whatever, that come with the hubs. And I don't know if it's advised, but we're putting a little blue thread locker on these just for security reasons. Make me sleep better at night, probably. Probably not. Sleep like crap at night. Anyways, just start those by hand and then go ahead and torque them down. And we're good to go. Now we're going to take our bushings, which have some grease already on them, slide them into place. Y'all hear that morning, what is it called? Morning dove, I think. Now we're going to take these guys, and there is grease provided, but there's no instructions. So if I do something wrong, sorry about it. Didn't have any way of knowing any different. So we're just going to put a couple layers of this on there. We can go ahead and finagle that guy on, or in, I should say. Just like that. Same deal there. And those should be good to go. Now we can put our grease fittings in. Get those guys pointed straight. And we're going to go ahead and pump a little grease in it. Once it pushes out the sides, we're good. Well, your boy got a little carried away. I did the driver's side and I was supposed to film doing this passenger side, but it totally slipped my mind. So our uppers are now in. Really the only thing that you have to do is probably flare out this little pocket right here. It's probably gonna be too tight for your new upper to slide in. So you can use a bolt on the inside and spread it apart evenly that way, or you can grab it with some pliers and just bend it back enough. And then once you tighten these down, it's gonna suck it back together. So yeah, uppers are in, and we probably could go ahead and put the spindle on, but it might be difficult to get our lower in after. So we're just gonna go ahead and wait for our lowers to get here, which should be here any minute, and we'll slam those guys on and then the spindles can go on. Now this is by far the most sketchy part of this install, and I'm probably doing it different than what you might do, but it's the only way that I found to actually get everything back together. So first thing, get your coil up into place, and I put the little collar on from the stock spring. I'm assuming you're supposed to. It's a little sound deadening thing. But then you got to figure out how to get that control arm back up. It is literally straight down, and the spring is just seated in there. So using a combination of the jack and ratchet straps to hopefully make it as safe as possible, we're going to start by hooking our jack onto this little lip right here, because if you jack it too far back, well, you can't. You literally can't. You have to get it from the front, but then you can't get the spindle on there
with your jack right here. So yeah, you'll see, but it's definitely sketchy. All right, now that we got it on that lip, hopefully the jack will roll as it picks it up. We're gonna lower this guy down just in case that comes out. Hopefully it doesn't hit us in the face. So be keeping an eye on that lip, because if it slips off, it's gonna send that coil into orbit. Now the goal here is to get this thing up high enough to where we can put some ratchet straps on it to hold it. Now that I got the ratchet straps on there, we're going to slowly lower this guy, and hopefully they're not going to, definitely dropping a lot lower than I was wanting it to, and hopefully go all the way up with it. All right, that should be enough compression to get everything. Oh my gosh, look at our coil. Why is our coil so freaking bowed? Oh, and obviously I already put the lower control arms on, and I put the grease fitting in and pumped some grease in there. All right, now we've got to get our new hardware to mount the spindle to the upper control arm. Now, like I said, this kit did not come with any instructions, and the online instructions off their website is just a generic breakdown of the parts and not like a step-by-step or anything like that showing exactly how to do it. So are you supposed to put this grease all over this guy? I don't know, but I feel like you probably are, and so I am. I don't really see any negative effects of doing it if you weren't, but I feel like on this style, like, you're supposed to. There's no ball joint, it's just metal on metal. So I imagine that is what that stuff is for. So now we got those babies in there. We just gotta line it up with our upper and throw our bolt in. Hopefully this isn't easier said than done. Wait a minute, we gotta swap our brake caliper over to this side before we connect these. Let's see, hopefully that will drop down and line up. Booyah. All right, throw our other washer. There's one on each side. And then throw the nut on. Let's just go ahead and slip our steering back together, which we definitely need to replace as well, but I forgot to order these. It's not a big deal. Won't have to take much apart to replace. All right, cool. Now we got to route this guy. We're gonna relocate our ABS over to this side, so we're not running this. Yes, we could. Pictures show differently, but I don't think there will actually be an issue. All right. Brakes are on there. It shows in the photos the factory metal piece that holds the brake line on being used in here, or maybe it doesn't show the new extended brake lines. Honestly, these seem too long. I don't know if you have to use these or not, but we're gonna just do a simple zip tying job on all of this for the time being. Well, that looks pretty freaking sick to me, and now we just gotta tighten everything down. So your uppers, 1, 2, this guy, your lower ball joint, your tie rod, and then once the truck is on its own weight, that guy and that guy. And then it's just a matter of throwing our shock on. Unfortunately, if
you look through there, we do have a brake fluid leak going on the driver's side, which I'm gonna have to jack that side back up and address that. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it's something simple. Either way, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything down, put our wheel and tire on, get it on its own weight, or I'll actually catch up with y'all for dropping it on the ground so we can get a good first look at what it's gonna sit like. If any, I mean, really shouldn't be much. Okay, there we go. Wow, that's that's a huge improvement. Well, I went ahead and threw our shock in. I jacked the truck up all the way and was able to slip it right up into place. It does suck up top because you're gonna have to use an Allen. It's a 6 mil with, I think, an 18 mil wrench. It definitely helps to have a ratcheting one. Thankfully I did, but it still takes forever. But yeah, our shock is in, and I had to move our ABS wire over because when it was this way, it was touching our freaking tire. Obviously, this is like the worst offset possible because it is stock and it's extremely close to everything. So yeah, we ran our ABS wire up there for now, and I'm just going back and finishing tightening everything. To pull it out of the shop. I'm a little concerned that the rear hitch is going to hit the concrete, so we're taking it nice and easy, contrary to what I was wanting to do, which was ramp it out. But better safe than sorry. Ah! Anybody need a dog? Cause for concern. Holy freaking crap. Well, thankfully it did not hit. It was so freaking close. Look at this little toot rig. The smallest amount. Oh my gosh, look at this thing, y'all. That one guy, he commented, he said, you ain't never gonna have no pre-runner, it's gonna be squatted on 26s. Well, where do y'all think the squat came from? It originated from pre-runner builds, dude. They've always been lower in the back than the front, and that's the case here. All right, guys, well, here she is, and holy crap, this thing is definitely a lot taller than it was before. I still haven't stuck a tape measure on it yet, but I'll go ahead and throw it on screen. I'll do it once I get home. This is how much it ended up raising it up over that it was right under 33 inches of fender to ground clearance that we had before. So it's 6.5 inch lift with the 6-inch spindles. It's a 1.5 inch width addition. So you can see how much farther the front sticks out than the rear. And then I think it's a 10-inch travel kit. So we're gonna have, like, that top of that tire can travel 10 inches up and down. We didn't install the limit straps. We're gonna have to do that in a following video. You do have to weld these on. They were pictured as bolt on, but it does say weld on, and I just got plates that weld on. So we gotta figure that out. I don't know if I really wanna weld that on with the welder that I currently have. I know there's gonna be people that don't like it because it, I mean, technically is squatted. I mean, not really squatted, more of a little lean, which is pretty standard on this channel. But it's a freaking pre-runner, dude. They don't include rear anything with the kit, which is kind of wild because this kit's like $3,100, right at $3,000 before taxes and everything. Yeah, and it didn't even come with rear shocks, which is a pretty big bummer. I would have expected it to. Well, I knew it didn't when I bought it because, you know, it's listed and everything. But, you know, it comes with front Bilsteins. We're going to pair some rear Bilsteins with it, but that's a really expensive kit. I mean, that's more than most full drop bracket lift kits, $3,000. Holy crap. That paired with the lower control arms, the hubs, we're like $4,000 near about into suspension currently on a truck that we paid like less than $6,000 for. Pretty crazy. Some boy math got to go on to make that happen, but dude, it turned out really freaking cool. On road condition, drives really great. It is smoother than Chomper for sure. The only thing is you can definitely feel the lack of a sway bar. So, you know, if you go sawing at that wheel, the body of the truck is going to start floating all over the place. And, you know, that's literally by design. It's supposed to have articulation for off-roading. So I'm sure you could put that back on if you ended up not liking that feeling. But we ain't putting it back on because I like the way it feels. It's freaking sick. So I'm going to quit rambling. Y'all see the truck. It looks sick. Y'all saw the install. Let's go freaking drive this thing. Now, we're going to have some rattles. We're going to have some creaks. It's a 2004. Already, I can tell you it's insanely smooth. Holy crap. Now, the rear of this truck, as y'all may or may not know, is still stock. So we still have the stock, possibly 170,000, 20-something year old shocks in the back. Probably not, but factory leaf springs and some kind of old non-performance, look at a little floaty, non-performance shocks. We're of course going to be upgrading those, but they didn't come with the kit, which is a little bit of a bummer for how much this kit cost. They definitely could have thrown some shocks in at a bare minimum, but they didn't. So we're going to be addressing that ourselves. Dude, this thing is so smooth. Now, this isn't the roughest dirt road in the world. Like, there's not huge craters and, well, there is some huge potholes, but not like huge washout spots and stuff. But it's still a dirt road, and we're still freaking scooting. All right, little turn. Oh, dude, it's planted. And body roll right there didn't seem to be okay. We're going 45. Now, this is the dirt road that my buddy flipped his Jeep on. Yes, flipped his Jeep on. I don't know if I've told that story on here or not before. I think I have, but maybe I didn't. It's a long story where, you know, things did not go very good, because there is a hill out here that you can get air on, and he got air, and then he got, you know, upside down. Not great, but dude, we also got to get a monitor to like keep up with our temps of everything, because, you know, we're only pushing 2,500 RPMs right now. But as we do more off-roading, we are most certainly going to need to keep up with that. Dude, this thing, I used to live on this dirt road every freaking weekend, burning it up. I ain't never been this fast down it. And it's probably one of the smoothest I've been down, and we're freaking flying. Got a little S turn here. Some mud. Oh, dude. This is exactly why I wanted this kit on this truck. For this exact crap right here. We're gonna go out to the management forest, where there's just unlimited miles of dirt roads that we can freaking haul butt down. Oh, brother, we are scooting. And I'm hoping Jake, oh wow, we've already ran the whole dirt road, or at least this portion. We have officially hit concrete. We're gonna turn around. Oh, dude, the transition to concrete right there was nothing. Let's see this transition from concrete to dirt going the opposite way. Gonna hit it at about 40. Oh, dude. Absolutely nothing. This is sick. We gotta get those limit straps in here. That way we don't have to worry about, you know, maybe some roads we're not too familiar with, getting this thing light, or even potentially catching some freaking air. Little washout spot there got her loose. 40 miles an hour. Dude, she's just loving it though. She loves it till she ain't, probably on these stock tires, and we get no traction in the front, slide off into a tree or a ditch. That wouldn't be fun, but it's eating it freaking up. Big bump. Oh, let's freaking go. Dude, this is just Sunday cruise to church. If I lived on a dirt road like this, I'd have to have this exact style of truck, because you couldn't get me to take my other trucks down a road like this every day and not
absolutely hate life. And that's one of the reasons why I got this cheap truck, is because the paint's already not great on it. So who freaking cares how many rock chips we get and scratches and all that kind of crap? Doesn't freaking matter. It's already got all that imperfection. But as far as suspension goes, I don't hear anything, which is obviously great. So the last thing you want to do is install suspension and then hear a bunch of popping and banging, and that was definitely a one tire fire. Definitely gonna have to get a posi in here. I'm thinking like 456s or something big. I mean, I do like this with the, you know, the 4L60. It's got long gears, which is nice for like this. We're literally cruising 40 plus in second gear at less than 3,000 RPMs. You put a big gear in there, but then you pair it with a tire, it could be back to similar. I'm sure it would be. It's probably still gonna be a higher. 456, is that enough? Should we go more? Might as well give y'all a little interior POV on road now that we've ramped her down the dirt roads. Just ate that bridge up like it was nothing. As you see, our freaking alignment is pretty much on point, which is wild. But I'm tickled, dude, man. This thing rides just as good on road as it did before in stock two-wheel drive form, which if you've ever driven one of those trucks, you know they ride extremely good. Smoother than Chomper, which Chomper, in my opinion, rides good. No, get out of the... Bro, what was Brody doing? He ain't in the road, but I didn't see him on... He's underneath. Anyways, guys, hope y'all enjoyed. Truck's freaking awesome. I'm stoked on it. I know it's been a long time coming, and the kit was on back order for 2.5 months, which was very unfortunate. We bought the truck and then didn't have another video for 2.5 months, but here it is. I'm filming this Sunday, the day that y'all are seeing it, so be sure to drop a like if you did enjoy the video and you're excited for the build. Drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. I'll see y'all boys in the next one.